Giving is a skill set.
Yeah, I feel like not everybody can give away. Like even me creating a seasoning brand and stuff like that, I should be further along with that stuff. I felt like one moment I feel like that, and that was when I lost my uncle. Um,
Who was your
and
pastor?
my aunt, yeah, my previous pastor. You get what I'm saying? You changed my thought process of it. I don't
Young
know.
Smiler.
I don't know.
How do you feel about
Feels like I'm on a hot seat or something.
why?
I don't know. It just feels that way. Maybe this setup gives me that exclusive interview kind of feel.
So if you had to do an interview, would you feel like a interview that you could benefit the world would be regarding your skill set, regarding your experience? Like, what would you think an interview that you could give that would benefit the world?
I think skill set as well for me.
Your skill set being what? A baller?
Um,
Oh, my fault.
no, no. Skill set being a giver, giving. A caring person. Like I think those are two great things I balance very well. That could definitely
So you think being caring, you think being caring is a skill set?
not really a skill set. The giving part is the skill set of it.
Giving is a skill set.
Yeah, I feel like not everybody can give, and a part of the skill set of it being an organized thing, a budgeted thing, a structured plan is a good skill set
Okay.
of knowing how to give, knowing when to give, knowing what to give. I think those caring just kind of adds to it because
Are
I
you gonna be
care.
smiling at me all
I
this time?
don't know.
Cause I'm trying not to smile myself. I'm I'm listening to you, but I know how you think too. So this will be like a weird podcast. Cause like I'm asking you, but at the same time I'm like predicting what you might say. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm trying to guess what you might say.
I get it. And you know what? I deal with this
I mean,
during
golly.
Bible study and Sunday school and
Hmm.
other moments where you teach where you don't give off the face as teachers do. They give you that hint like you've got it. Like before you complete the answer,
Oh, so
you
you
give the
okay?
face, are you confident in what you're saying?
Mm,
Like is that the answer or is it not? Like there's
mm.
no middle person because sometimes you can read a teacher and be like, "Yeah, my answer is C plus," and they're like, their eyes show excitement
Right,
or
like oh, you're
their
close, you're
face.
close.
Yeah, you're like,
Straight face the whole time.
and nothing else is better than the end part where you say, "Yeah, that was great," but oh my
I mean,
gosh,
but what does that? What does that feel like? Well,
it
like
feels like I'm wrong. Even though my opinion probably wasn't wrong or my answer wasn't wrong, but because of what you gave back, it made me feel that way. You get what I'm saying? You changed my thought process of it because it felt unvalidated.
so, me validating your answer or what you saying, like you want me to you
Reassure.
reassure, and you saying reassure you by like saying, oh yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was
yeah.
great. And then if you hit me with a but, I understand. You say, oh yeah, that's good, but let me, it's always the but let me add this or uh, but check this out. And this and that. Be like, oh, that was a great answer. I didn't really think about it like that. But something too that I just wanted to add to that is
So if y'all watching right now, I'm basically just getting what would you say? Like I'm getting an intervention on my skill set of being a leader or being somebody who's conducting a study or something like that, and talking back to the people who I'm teaching to let them know, yo, um, that was good, but she's saying I don't reassure the students,
You make
so I
it
have to
hard.
practice.
You're the you're the you're the honors.
But
You're
what's
the
wrong with that? Like
Oh, there's
I,
absolutely nothing
you
wrong with
you
it.
know what I feel like, since you just said that, it made me think about it.
Okay.
I feel like if everybody is reassuring everybody, why can't I just be who I am?
I
If
think it
most people are like, you know what I mean, like, oh, that's good, you know, but nobody is saying, okay, that's, but I was thinking more, you know what I mean, like, if,
I think I'm speaking just from a teacher skill set. A lot of people look up to you. A lot of people look up to you. A lot of people are looking forward to hear what you have to say. A lot of people. That's the only difference between it.
but
Everybody else is not in front of the people doing this or that or
but what I'm saying is, does me saying it the way I do, or you know interacting the way I do when I teach, does it diminish them looking up to me? Like, does it diminish them looking up to?
I don't. To me, it doesn't. But other people, they could have that second thing in their head to be like, "Man, I love Tobias," but
Just like I said, but
but when he teaches, man, I just wish he was a little bit more, like I say, reassuring, or something like that. Like maybe that could push them even further because you are one of those teachers who pulled out those little things in the back of our mind that's hidden.
right. But does when I teach, does it feel like a lecture, or does it feel like, man, I want to kind of learn this? Because that's important. Because I don't like sitting in lectures.
I think it depends sometimes
See, that's bad.
on the topic. Not all topics, and I'm not speaking of this every single thing because sometimes when you
Hmm.
teach, I'm not actually alert. I got something going on with Ari,
Hmm.
but most of the times, like Sunday's message, for instance, that was amazing.
Hmm.
That was very attention attention grabbing, or
Hmm.
however you say
Hmm.
that. You included parables, examples. It was the perfect
Bland.
it was the perfect blend of what a teaching message should be about and learning aspects, the skill set of it. So every box for Sunday was checked, and let's say Sunday where it felt like uh, another Sunday. I'm just saying, I don't even know what service, but another Sunday, you may be like um, very scripture, more scripture
Boring.
related. Right. So when you're more scripture related and kind of stay on the same path of it, then you're like bringing up a few stories from biblical terms or something like that, but not mixing it with something comparable to real life, something comparable. I
Gotcha.
think pastors and elders and teachers sometimes lack that too. Like
Right.
they'll be teaching, they'll
Relatability.
be like, "You gotta understand when Moses was going in that water
Nobody knows
and
that
he
story.
was." Babe,
Gotcha.
I don't know every story in the Bible.
I get it. I
And like you say,
understand.
I'm not saying that as an excuse, as I shouldn't know every story in the Bible. I should know
Hmm.
every single story in that
Hmm.
Bible.
Hmm.
But I'm just saying,
But being
even
real.
right, and even from people who do know the stories in the Bible, and let's say they forget, that's the same as not knowing.
Yeah.
But they sometimes be stuck. They be like, "Oh man, I don't remember that." Or if they're telling the story about Ruth or Joe, you know what I'm saying? They're like, "Oh, I don't really remember." And then they're like, "He had to go through this, and he had to do this, and he had to do," and so they're just picturing their self trying to remember what happened in the story or wanting to go and read. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of mixes everybody. It turns into mush. It's
Right,
like
right, right. I
you
got you. So
mixed it.
basically, this podcast is teaching me how to run my channel. It's teaching me how I can better, garner attention on the channel. Cause I'm in my head, I was like, just give them the knowledge, and then that'll make people be like, man, I didn't know that, and they'll come in. But you saying being able to relate to people supersedes the knowledge because if they feel dumb, they ain't gonna want to stay.
No, right.
Not because I'm smarter, but just
Yeah,
even
or that
sounding
it's
smart,
intimidate. Yeah,
it's intimidating.
yeah,
I never thought about it like that. And it's hard for me to tone that down sometimes because sometimes I be so passionate I forget I'm talking to y'all, not just like talking.
yeah. And like I say, even sometimes when we have our conversations, and I can listen to you, and you'll be going on about something in my head, I'll be like, "Babe, what? You lost me,"
That's
because
crazy.
your vocabulary is
Y'all see how
bigger.
she's doing? Y'all see how she's
I'm
doing?
just saying, your vocabulary is bigger than mine.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel intimidating like, oh my gosh, my husband's super smart. He thinks he's a know it all. It's not like that. I
Right.
don't feel that
It's
way.
not demeaning. It's just
Yeah.
intimidating.
It's just like, babe, can you just hold on? Can you hold
Let
on?
me catch. Yeah, I
Can you
guess.
go back and let's regroup this again? I'm like you'll say words and I'm like, and that means
Right.
I'm like, all right, bro, you got it.
That's real. That's real. But this is episode one of the podcast on the Dom Dimitri channel. I have my wife. She sounds like if I
Yeah.
was to have a homeboy, that's what she sounds like, my homeboy, because she's going through something with the season change and stuff like that. But y'all just be praying for her. I like your hat, by the way.
Thanks.
Where'd you get it from?
My husband, Dom Dimitri.
Ask me about my hat. Hey, ask me about my hat. Chantel,
Mm.
ask me about my hat. Like compliment me on.
I like your hat too.
Oh yeah, I was. It's just some calm.
The camel's kind of cute on your skin tone.
Thanks.
Who made it?
Oh, Dom Dimitri, channel Dom Dimitri TV, where y'all can get a free hat if you subscribe and you comment the end. You can get a free hat. So, yeah, just calm. I like their channel. They got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
They got
right.
another channel too, Dom Dimitri Dose.
Oh,
Fun stuff. Him and his wife be cooking and doing different stuff like that.
dude, that's cool, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check
yeah.
them out.
You subscribe over there, you can get another free hat. But
Two
two
hats.
hats, camo and a red.
And excuse my hat. My hat and hair are going through some right now.
But
So
God can fix all things. He can. I'm telling you.
if you put it on the altar, he'll work it out. He'll work it out.
Okay, so we're not gonna do a long episode today, but I do want to talk to you about um a few things. First of all, why don't you have a restaurant yet?
Oh,
This is
shots.
no, no, no. It's not a shot. I just want you to talk. I want you to. This is also an outlet for you.
Mm.
Why don't you have a restaurant yet? What do you feel like in your mind? Do you feel like you should have a restaurant? Do you feel like you've been a failure? Do you feel like maybe I'm not as far along, or do you feel like I'm good? I'm not really worried about that right now. I know it's coming in the future. What's your mindset on that? How do you feel?
To be honest, I feel like it's like a crossroads kind of thing. Like as far as there's more than one path. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm crossed up, mixed up like what the little cube thing is.
A Rubik's cube.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
kind of feel like that a little bit, and I think that's from having that mindset of me starting out, pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
selling plates out of the apartment when we first got married, creating that fan base,
Mm-hmm.
not only in person but social media. It was kind of growing, and stuff like that. The only thing that I wasn't doing with social media was creating food videos from home. But I still took pictures and stuff like that of food. But I was definitely getting the traction that I was starting to want and stuff like that. And then just with even with that, I feel like my mind should have been shifting more towards, hey, what's the next step or the next plan, and not riding that wave. And then once I rode that wave, just stopping because there's some hurdles kind of in the way.
Yeah. So like kind of being intimidated by the what's next, and so you just
Right,
let it. You don't bother to attack it. You just kind of let it be what it is, and you don't, seek out what's the best way to do it, what's the worst way to do it. What's the way that I can do that'll make it easier. You just kind of like, I'm scared to mess with it, so
right. I
let me
think
just
the
leave it. Yeah.
part of, like I said, even when the hurdles kind of began to come, and not blocks, but like I say, hurdles, things you have to jump over. So a baby, we moved, we just so many things started to kind of happen in that process. And then I think I was already like confused a little bit with that first part of it being like, oh, what should I do? And I've got all these people around me that's like, oh, you need a restaurant, oh, you need this, oh, you need that. And yes, we know that it's easier said than done. But by saying it's easier said than done, I should have, while it was easy, tried to do a little bit more research. Like all the research that I do now, I should have done then. Then and maybe I could have established more stuff along the way. Like even me creating a seasoning brand and stuff like that, I should be further along with that stuff. And now, since I'm a mother, it's like I have her. I don't want to too much focus on too much work and stuff like that because, like, how my mind is, like, I'll be focused on work. I can multitask, but only to a certain extent. Like, I can multitask when it comes to work versus trying to multitask when it comes to taking care of a baby, trying to work, trying to worship leader at church, trying to. Those are four different things as far as life things that twist and turn
Yeah.
versus four things that I just have to worry about with work. I gotta, I gotta, I gotta sell plates today. I have to do the books today. I have to put the receipts up today. I have to clean everything today. I can do all four of those things with no
Problem.
hesitation
Yeah.
because those are all in that same work hustle feel. The rest of the stuff pulls from each different part of your brain, comparing it to motherhood and church and different stuff like that. I just felt like my focus, which, like you say, I noticed with us consuming so much of the phone, it begins to take away your attention span even more. I think even with that, my attention span began to be pulled little and little and little with all of that. And I still love to cook so much. Even now, still, like I say, I do want a place for food and to sell so that people, like, my whole thing about cooking is honestly like, I don't know why, but I feel like if I get paid for it, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool, but I think it's my thing of the people enjoying the food, and I don't know why. Like them being like, bro, that was so good.
So you saying you enjoy people enjoying your food more than you enjoy being paid from making the food?
Right. And we all know that don't mix in this world. Like, bro, what the crap? How you gonna be cooking all that food
Yeah,
and you
based
ain't
on what
making
people
nothing
say. Yeah.
based on what people say
Right.
or something like that? But I do and would love to have. And that's the thing. I don't want nothing super huge. I don't want nothing super big. I just want something small that says me.
personal.
perfect definition of a hole in a wall where they could be
Hmm.
like, bro, I know if I go there, I'm finna get something good to eat.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, that's it, and like it's not like a regret thing. It's more so just
Right,
like
yeah,
it could have been managed or it could have been,
right.
dealt with differently. But do you feel like do you feel like God might have um, like left you in that way, or do you feel like God is like she didn't take her chance, so whatever, or do you feel like God is like um, she's not uh, she's not ambitious enough, or she's not uh, very managing enough?
I feel like I was more so pushed into a different area than I do as far as feeling like like you said, he was like, ah, she's not ambitious enough, she's not, because I still have all of those things that I am. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
still ambitious,
He
yeah.
didn't take away any of those things, or I didn't feel like, oh God just disappointed me. I
Hmm.
don't feel like that either. But something that I started doing was the mission work, giving to the homeless,
Hmm.
and noticing, oh, I don't have to go to fast food restaurants and stuff and buy 50 and 100 meals, spending thousands of dollars in restaurants and stuff like that,
Hmm.
because I was the secret. Like, I was the cook.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I could get food and I could go and give it out to people. And just like I said before, it's about the people enjoying the food.
Hmm.
So those people are not paying me, and I'm getting a chance to see how they love to taste my food.
Hmm.
Like, and I didn't put, what I'm saying, that together until I just thought about it. But that's the same thing that I want at the same time, but it glorifies him at the same time.
How?
We're giving back to the less fortunate. We're
Okay.
giving to people who don't have nothing, who don't have food,
Hmm.
clothes. Because like I said, we give out food, clothes, and other stuff too. But I'm saying as far as them being fed in that category.
Hmm.
So the first thing, like my brother and them was saying, they're like, bro, we need to start like a non-profit or something like that,
Hmm.
to where they're paying me and stuff, just so this money is not coming out of my pocket
Personal, yeah.
per se, but we're taking care of those people and we're actually making money
Hmm.
in the process of it. But my biggest goal is still to be like, okay, as long as I have money to do whatever I need to do for them, I'm fine. Like, I'm not even tripping about the rest. But
Yeah.
because I'm doing that, I'm gonna be rewarded for
Yeah.
the extra on the back end.
For sure. So yeah, that's true, and I think a lot of people deal with like regrets, and
Yeah.
they be like, making themselves feel bad about it, or they get mad at God about it. But like you said, I feel like sometimes we for that season we've taken a different direction in life, but God will always put us back where we may feel like we were
Right.
supposed to be, even though he know where we went is where he actually wanted us to go.
Right.
That's where we were supposed to be,
Right.
because sometimes we have to build and grow as he want us to, so that it makes we're able to handle whatever he
Mhm.
give us from there. So I'm a kind of go a different direction, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. But
Yeah.
going back to like your childhood, were there things that traumatized you, or that may have caused you to um, question God, like that may have caused you to be like, I don't know if this is real, or I don't know if he loved me like people be saying, or whatever. Was there any questions in your mind based on like childhood things, or things that may have happened to you, or relationships that may have made you question God, or who he say he is, or who people say he is?
Yeah, I don't think I've never been in a position. I felt like one moment I felt like that, and that was when I lost my uncle
Who was your
And my
pastor?
aunt, yeah, my previous pastor, Pastor Tally and Mother Tally, they actually passed 4 days apart. She had reoccurring symptoms of breast cancer, and his was pancreatic cancer. But when they died, I just honestly couldn't understand why. You know what I'm saying? That why out of everybody who I was around, who was this or who was that? You know what I'm saying? Like just people. You know what I'm saying? I just saw them as like people, but with them, I saw them as man. They're so amazing. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
doing exactly what God wants them to do and stuff. But I couldn't physically wrap my mind around why did they have to be the two that kind of left. And I wasn't upset with God, but I was very confused. But honestly, I think it was 6 months to a year later is when I think I kind of started to get serious about my life choices
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that myself. And then came to the realization I'm like, I'm confused or asking questions about this or that. But like you say, if we're fasting, praying, interceding on other people's behalf, for instance, when they were sick or down, like even if it wasn't in God's plan to answer that particular prayer, but it's the fact that none of my works that I was supposed to do, I wasn't doing any of those things. I wasn't, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that, you know what I'm saying, it's my fault. I'm not saying that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying as far as me realizing that if I was kind of where I was supposed to be, maybe the outcome would have been different. And not even that, I just even realized that how many people looked up to them, how much of a light that they were to people. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were higher than the high. Like nobody talked about them little to not like always talked about, always uplifted.
Mm-hmm.
But it just let me know of how high of a pedestal that they kept them on. And I know that if you worship something too much, it can become an idol.
Mm.
And so I even realized that I'm like, we worship them.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? We kept them so high on a pedestal that it was like, oh, almost nothing they could do
Was wrong.
was wrong. Nothing. No, oh no, not them. Or oh no, they didn't. They didn't say that. Or no, they didn't. You know what I'm saying? And not in a weird, crazy way.
But it's almost like it's taking away their humanity.
Right.
You making them divine, like they can't make a
Because
mistake.
anything negative, like I know my parents and many stories, just going to them, talking to them, their answer was always, God gonna make a way and God's gonna work it out. In my head, I'm like,
When? How?
yeah, I'm like, how is that the answer right now? But they never had moments where they were negative against what God said, negative against, and
Mm.
it wasn't what they were doing that was wrong. Is why people looked up to them because they was doing everything right.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem was they stood in between them and that place where God sits. That's why they're not able to grow and reach over to who God is, because they had those two people here, like you say, somebody here on earth that I can talk to. So
So
they were that person.
do you feel like it was more so mismanagement on your uncle's ability to point them to Christ, or do you feel like it was more so on the people's lack of recognizing that these are still people, but I need to look for Jesus?
Yeah, I definitely think it was on the people, cause
Are you saying it because you just love your uncle so much?
no, 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 no.
Mm.
I'm saying I think that, like, truly in my heart, I think it was the people, because it was when I'm in this problem, I'm calling him. When I'm this, I'm that. But his answers were always leading back to God. His answers were never within himself.
Right.
He wasn't able to.
This how I do it. This is
He
what.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, he wasn't able to solve those problems or solve.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna pray about it.
Mm.
We're gonna do this about it. We're gonna. But the problem is with us people, it's like you said, it's that I want it now. I want it here. I want he's not able to perform that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's like, oh, there's that space. And like you say, like I was saying before, even that time I took just to get closer with God, just to even understand that,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like feeling like, man, I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Then once I began to turn my life around and stuff, and I don't know how old I was. I'm 25, 20. So it was around,
25, 26, my
it
fault.
was around 1920, something like that. 1920, some,
Oh, 19 or 20 years old.
uh,
I'm like, you
I'm
was
not
not
even
here in no
alive.
1920.
No. So, something like that where I'm like, man, I gotta stop tripping. I gotta get myself together and stuff like that. But even the relationships and different stuff like that that I've experienced, uh, growing up and stuff like that, just guys that I've talked to
Wait, what you mean?
or
No, I was playing. I was
whatever,
just laughing. You know,
or for whatever it was, like each of those things create another scar to heal from. Each of those things create another heal or another battle to try and fight.
mm-hmm.
Um, which even with that, I'm like, oh God, something's got to change. I got to line myself up with who He wants me to be, and that's something I'm still trying to figure out,
Nah,
like
that's real.
today, like who who or what exactly is your whole plan for me. What And Pastor spoke that message before. God
Mm-hmm.
has already written our script,
Mm-hmm.
and ever since he said that, I be thinking about that. I be like, what's my
Roll.
what's my role, what's the rest of my lines, like
Mm-hmm.
what I'm supposed to say, what am I supposed to do. So sometimes I still feel confused uh with that, with understanding, and I know
Yeah.
that comes with sitting in his presence and meditating, and like I say, some
Mm-hmm.
that thing gets me too, where like I was just explaining about them consulting Pastor
Mm-hmm.
Tally, about what do I need to do, what do I, you know what I'm saying, looking for the answer right now instead
Mm-hmm.
of consulting the number one person who can give us that. So
Right.
I think it's just me just trying to understand all of it, really. But I don't,
Yeah.
I think that was the only time. It was a good and a bad situation, I
Mm-hmm.
would say, with that. Him passing hurt me, had me in that position of being
Mm-hmm.
like, why to God? Um, but it also made me better at the same time. It made me realize and think about,
Yeah.
uh, you know,
Yeah. I agree with that. I feel like anything that happens in my life, good or bad, that allows me to actually have to think or to try to get understanding,
yeah,
it's a good thing because even if it makes me question something, um, it's kind of like if I, you know, dig my feet in the dirt. I was digging my feet in the dirt, but then because of something that happens, I take my feet out a little bit. But when I take my feet out a little bit because I'm confused or whatever, I can actually have more momentum to dig in deeper.
right,
You know what I mean? Or to, you know, spread out my roots a little bit deeper.
yeah,
So I think that those things happen to allow us that, like, man, God, are you real? Like, God, wow, God, whatever, so that we can actually get deeper roots in Him. Because people who are so gung ho for God, and I don't mean this, you know, in no
yeah,
negative way, but people who don't really understand what they believe or why they believe, I feel like sometimes that can be very shallow roots. It can be very shallow and not very strong grip on who God is in your faith. And
hmm,
so stuff like that that happen, it really help us to grow and to be strong in our
yeah,
faith. So when something else happen like that, we already know, like, I'm good. I haven't been through worse.
hmm,
But yeah, I I think that's something that a lot of people can grow from and you know, take to themselves and apply to their life. Because when you start thinking about some of the stuff you went through, you be like,
right,
God, I
right,
don't, why you let that happen, or God, what was the point of this?
yeah,
And And sometimes when things work themselves out, you can actually look back on that and be like, okay, I see how that piece together, I see what you was trying to do.
Yeah.
But we don't take the time to reflect a lot of times.
Yeah, and it's also those things like you say, things. For instance, I couldn't control that physical situation. You know what I'm saying? Like between their passing and God allowing them to pass and all that. But I'm saying as far as sometimes the choices that we make can also be our fault too.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? Like in other
Most times.
situations where it's like your parents or your or God or whoever it is telling you, especially if you're young and want to go out and stuff. Like I know how that is, but they're like, "Oh no, you shouldn't go out tonight. You shouldn't do this tonight. You shouldn't." So they're saving you from an accident. They're saving you from getting killed at a party. They're saving you from getting drugged and kidnapped.
Right.
There's different stuff that could be happening, but because we choose to rebel or because we choose,
Yep.
that's our fault. That's what I'm saying. Some things are not on God, and that's why I say some people question him and say why, but I think it's also about what you're questioning him about. You shouldn't be questioning him about something that was your fault. You see what I'm
You should
saying?
know I stepped wrong.
You should be like,
Yeah.
yeah, you should be like, but you got some people who just straight denial. Like
Yep.
they're like, no, I don't care what you say.
Right. It was God.
Oh, and
I
it's
don't want.
supposed to be a God. Yep. Oh, there still is a God, regardless if you're mad or not. I mean,
Yeah.
but you gotta be an adult and own up to the stuff that's on you, bro.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the last thing I want to bring up because you seem to have this very rare skill that you talked about at the beginning, and I've been able to witness it. It's very rare, y'all. It's very rare, and I haven't been associated or even known anybody who is able to do this thing like you do, and it's weird. And it's not weird because I
I'm
don't
laughing
like
because I
it.
don't know what he's gonna ask.
It's huh?
I said I'm laughing because I don't know what you're gonna ask.
It's not weird because I don't like it, but it's more so weird because it's like, why are you this good at it? Like what happened to you that made you be this good? But the skill I'm talking about is gift giving.
Wow.
You you will literally, like, if there was a way that you could get books on people, you would take them books and study them so that you can give them the perfect gift.
Yeah.
But you do study them.
The person.
You
Right.
listen, you watch them, you see what they kind of missing, whether it be a material or something like that in their life,
Yeah.
and you go and see how you can get it if have the means to get it. And so,
Yeah.
what are, like, give me like three top things that for you use that makes you to be a top notch gift giver.
So I think it number one spearheads from me being younger, the younger version of me. Let's just say that. The younger version of me, uh, I was still very shy at nature. Like I was only open because I played sports in school and stuff like that. So
Like, you
you
was
know how
made
those
popular.
right, you know how those things are where you have to talk to people, you
Right.
have to be interactive with your teammates, you have to.
Right. You got to
So you know what
communicate.
I'm saying. So those can push you on and out of your character. But me, growing up, little or whatever, we had to wear skirts. We couldn't wear pants. We couldn't. So those things came with a lot of things. Uh, being young talked about like, oh, you gotta wear skirts. Oh, and what's crazy is it's not like I didn't have no clothes on. I get it, but those things were, very annoying, bothersome. So those things fluctuated friends. Those things fluctuated how I felt when I was younger. As I begin to get older, I can wear, what I want, high school and stuff like that. Yeah, I got into pants and stuff like that then. But like you say, then comes the sports. Then comes the sexuality of it all. So now it's the shape. Now it's how my face looks. Now it's how. So everything's changing from that little girl. But from me being little like that, I valued who I had as friends. I valued who the people were to me that was very close. You know what I'm saying? If they're laughing at me because I have a skirt on, or if I have this, and you were supposed to be my friend and you were laughing, that doesn't feel like you.
So you saying that this has to do with your giving ability because you value people who, although your upbringing had you to where you had to be kind of like you had to uniquely dress because of your religion, like you couldn't do like
Right,
everybody else.
right. So it
Um,
just made me be very attentive.
and you appreciated those people who wouldn't talk about you, even though you
Right.
couldn't be like them.
As far as being not a real reason to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or something like that. Like I get it if I came to school with my hair
Crazy.
blow dry, like how I look under this hat. But I'm just saying, like an actual reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, or something like that. But it allowed me to be more attentive, as far as to every single thing.
Right.
So, and then let's just say even relationships when I got older. That's another thing.
So that's number two.
That's number two. So, number two was I talked to different guys and stuff like that, but
Mm.
it didn't always go as planned. It didn't always, and once again, that was me being shy by nature, not being very verbal of the things that I wanted
Gotcha.
and the things that I wanted to happen, as
Mm-hmm.
me being a little child being picked on because of skirts, instead of being like, uh, hey, I don't even think you got, like, I would be the type of person, like, if they're gonna laugh, if they're gonna do this, then I would just walk away.
Mm.
Like, I'm not gonna be confrontational with you and be like, what are you laughing at my
Right. Right. Right.
skirt
Right.
from? I just, what, that wasn't me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was still, like I said, I was already little.
Mm-hmm.
I was so short and skinny, like, but, like I say, with guys and relationships and stuff like that, I wasn't very verbal in what I wanted. I didn't give most of the people I texted or talked to or stuff like that, like gifts and stuff like that, because it was something that I believe that was like earned. But for one, I never felt like in a position of, you made me feel so special, like, let me get you this, let me get you that. But I was always in a position to where, and no, by then I was working different stuff like that.
So
Like,
you
they
could get the,
knew
yeah.
who I was, like how I was established.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another thing. I think a lot of people was just drawn to me having like a good head on my shoulders. Like, hey,
Mm.
she likes to work, she likes to. So I think a lot of times they would try to use that as, hey, like the I left my wallet at home trick. That don't work on Chantel.
A dude tried that on you?
Oh, buddy, yes. I left my wallet. And you know what? We was at a gas station. And you grabbing all this stuff and you knew you left your wallet.
No
Well,
way. No way somebody tried that on
it's
you.
time for me to get in my car and go home. Because this is not
So
for
did you
me.
buy his stuff?
No.
So what did he do? Put it back?
Yeah. No. I don't think he put it back.
So what, he just found his wallet all of a sudden?
No, I don't know if he acted like he had cash in his pocket or not. That's one thing my dad taught me,
What?
though.
What, what
As
was it?
far as like being played, trying to run game.
Yeah, what he taught you?
As far as that, like, he's like, hey, pay attention to people and what they do. Pay attention to, you know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Like, they did teach me to be very
Observant.
observant.
Mm-hmm.
So even with that, like, bro got a nice car. Bro got a full tank of gas. Bro got nice clothes on, nice shoes. Those shoes are new. You just got those last week. I haven't seen
How?
those shoes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all these things. I'm not that girl. If you thought
Right.
I was that, because there are some women who are willing to buy and do for
Because they like
whatever.
him.
You wasn't even, we wasn't boyfriend and girlfriend really. This was just some guy I
Talking.
was talking
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we was just, hanging out and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm not. I just wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So even just with that, like relationships and stuff, I was like, oh no, oh this, oh that.
Mm-hmm.
So adulthood. So I've grown up. I've moved out of that fast life. I've moved out of all the stuff.
And I mean fast, y'all. Fast life.
Anyway, uh, I've moved out of all that stuff. I've decided that I need to change my life. I've decided, hey, this ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in some situations where I could have died,
Mm.
and stuff like that when I
But
was
God,
young.
my fault.
And the whole time I was half the time not even scared of God. I was scared of my dad.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I was scared of my dad.
That's
I was
crazy.
like, oh, my dad gonna find out and I'm dead.
Dead meat.
I'm dead. Not knowing that God can just strike me down right now. You know
You
what I'm
you
saying?
want to be dead for real?
Yeah. So even with that adulthood, meeting great friends that I can be closer to, and I think that's something like I said before, even with the sisterhood thing and stuff like that. I was always a chill person. I got along with the guys faster
Mm-hmm.
than I did the girls because I'm not a girly girl.
Sound
I'm
like a
not a
tomboy.
yeah, I like my nails and stuff done. Like I ain't saying that type of
Mm-hmm.
girly girl, but I'm saying the extra girly girl.
Mm-hmm.
But my sister-in-laws and all the girls that I have around me and stuff, I'm still learning and healing from different relationships that I've had with friends and stuff in the past that severed because like choosing to live a different lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
choosing to uh, stand for what my parents say. Because when I was young, it wasn't about what I said, it was about what they said
That's real.
for me.
That's real.
So being instead of talking about my mom and dad, be like, bro, yeah, they stupid for making me wear, like just biting the bullet and just walking. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Walking away in it, but it's caused me to have sometimes a guard up with the women that I have in my life now because I still feel like there's things there, like barriers built as far as being trustworthy and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's with relationships and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
But as far as the gift giving is concerned, but being able to pay attention to the people who actually love me, who actually are showing that they're genuine,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing the things that they like from being around
Yeah.
them and being like, oh my goodness, like I know last week they were talking about they wanted a ninja maker because they wanted to get on a health journey because of smoothies or
Mm-hmm.
like I pay attention to everything that they're saying, but they're pouring out into my life. So the things that I want to pour out into their life is the same way. And so like you said, I just pay attention to what they say.
Right.
I'm a better listener than I am a better person like putting out.
You don't like to put your problems on people, but you like to listen to theirs.
Yeah, I would rather them be like, man, I'm going through this, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through that, than me be like, I'm going through this. Because in my head, I'd be like, oh, don't nobody want to hear that. Or don't nobody care about that. And I think that's another
But you,
thing. Like
you
I said, with that sisterhood thing and
mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And most of the times you have a sister for that. And I'm not saying I don't be like, bro, I'm just stressed or I'm
Mm-hmm.
just, but I'm saying most of the time I'm more of a bite the bullet kind of person than I am a cry about that
Right.
situation person. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's real. Cause uh, it sound like from your young to your adolescent and to you being where you are now. I even remember when you got me a gift for the first birthday,
that's
my first birthday
crazy,
that we
babe.
was just
You're the first person that I ever bought a
yeah.
gift for.
She bought and see, I didn't know I was the first person. I thought I was the first person she ever
The first
bought
male,
shoes.
besides my brothers and them, like the first person that meant something to me.
Yeah, she bought me shoes and I coming up the way I did, I didn't have that. I didn't have no girl buy me no shoes for real. Um, or even my parents,
Yeah.
they bought me shoes and stuff when they could, but it wasn't often at all. But when she did that, I got emotional because I'm like, dang, bro, she got something that I actually wanted.
Right.
And then her family was like, bro, you must got something because she ain't never did that
Oh
for
yeah, they
nobody.
was tripping me
Yeah, and
out.
so yeah, so like I can see like from young to adolescent where you were saying you was just kind of more observing, and not that you aren't now, but at that time you didn't really give out the gifts.
Yeah.
You didn't really do for people because you weren't really aware of who they say they
Yeah.
was,
I
what
feel
was their
like,
motives and stuff
yeah,
like
I
that.
feel like gifts are just a rewarding thing,
The
a
reward, yeah,
appreciative thing. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, say either I love you or thank you or, you know what I'm saying? They're
yeah,
not things that I don't like. People call it materialistic things, but they're also important at the same
yeah,
time. Like, that's why if I get a gift, you won't see me at the store telling myself, oh, let's just put this $5 thing together. Like, if I get a gift for somebody, like anybody that I've bought a gift for, they can say that they've enjoyed their gift.
yeah. And so, um, yeah, I remember. I mean, just looking at your situation and seeing it and being like, man, she was observant, but she didn't really do nothing until she recognized people who motives was clean and people who wanted to be around her, people who liked her for who she was.
Right.
And that's crazy that you stayed that process like that, because some people, they just rather just throw their gifts at everybody, and then the people who are appreciating it, they sometimes tend to miss them
Mm-hmm.
because the people who are using them seem to like it more.
Yep.
So, but I hope y'all got something from this, and I hope y'all, you know, our conversation, our small conversation, made y'all think of, you know, things in your life. Um, Maybe made you question God, but you overcame it, or if you still questioning God, how you can overcome it. And so, um, um, yeah, we got people coming in, so we gonna cut it off
And
right
I was
here.
gonna say,
Oh,
even
go ahead.
with y'all being young, like you say, the question about questioning God or whatever it is, just like young men or women, like even just like I say, being young and people people are cruel. So I feel like it's always gonna be a moment where you feel down or a moment where you feel like you're kind of lost, but be confident in who you are as a person. Like, don't let them change who you are as a person, because if they're causing you to change, like, you'll forever do it the rest of your life. Like, you'll always be trying to change something, trying to make something different, trying to wonder why. And then now you're like, why, God, did this happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
But it's because you've allowed
Yeah.
that repetitive thing to continue. So just kind of stay on your own path. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it hurts to like not have no friends and stuff like that. But like you say, God is somebody who will be there for you. And when I was young, I didn't necessarily turn to God myself, even when I was going through that stuff. I had siblings, if that's a such thing. But if you don't have no siblings, please talk to God about it. Talk to your parents about it, or talk to somebody that you trust. Even you can reach out to me and Tobias, and we'll
Right.
talk to you
That's
or
for real.
whatever it is. But just don't feel like you need to harm yourself because you feel like you're less than. There's actually nothing wrong with you. I feel like there's something wrong with the people who are trying to change you to be something that you're
Mm-hmm.
not, because they're not comfortable in their own skin. So
That's real. That's real. Yeah. So, I appreciate uh you, Bay, for being here and sharing all that, because it is very vulnerable things that you sharing with people, and hopefully it benefit them. And we just thank God for this platform. And so, y'all let us know if y'all have any questions or any topics or any guests that y'all would like us to have on here. We're gonna run this up, and this is going to be the direction of our channel for a long time. So, um, we'll see y'all on next time. This is episode 1.